Everybody, welcome back to Wiki Good Sports. This is At the Buzzer. I'm joined as always by Jack. Jack, how you doing?
Ryan, we're doing well, thanks.
And Ryan. Ryan, how are you doing?
I'm also doing well, Brian.
How could you not be doing well when the Celtics are 48-12, 8 games over the Bucks, and the best team in the NBA? What a run! I mean, let's start off with that Warriors Celtics beatdown. Jack, do you want to start us off there? Just kind of tell us what you saw, and we'll just get into it.
Sure. After that game, it feels like it's 1,000,000-12 is our record. So, I think for me, little context, I was on a cruise during that game. I turned it on at halftime. I saw 82-38, and I'm like, "Am I high? Like, what is this?
Right.
This is the Golden State." Like, I checked, and it was, I think, 21-21, and then I was like, "What just happened? Like, what insanity just went down?" Then, I mean, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, that's what went down. They had a combined 50 points at the half. That is more than the Warriors, like, entirely. And they're a record-breaking third 50-plus point win in a single season, which is the first time that's ever happened. So, I mean, that should speak to the volume of how good these guys are. KP didn't even play that game, and he's the quote-unquote cheat code. He's the unicorn. So the fact that we're able to pull that out, Pritchard's able to come give meaningful minutes, Tillman's able to come and give good defensive meaningful minutes. I love the Luke Cornett role that he's taken on, even with Kata out. This team really does feel like it's firing on all cylinders. And I love how much people are hating on the Warriors' plan to just drop on or sag on Jaylen Brown for some stupid reason at the beginning, and he just was not missing, which is so funny. I can't believe that was their plan, and it backfired so horrifically. And then Steve Kerr didn't pull it back when he realized it wasn't working. That's crazy to me.
Ryan, what do you think of the Warriors' plan there? I mean, it's been the talk of Twitter, of ESPN. It didn't work, but what are your thoughts in that attempt?
Repeat the question.
the Warriors, their decision, I guess, to just kind of allow Jaylen Brown to, have free reign of shots, and then Jaylen Brown just made them, and it really buried the Warriors. A very unique strategy of we're just going to let Jaylen Brown do whatever he wants. What do you think of that?
Yeah, so honestly, because I don't follow social media or anything, and I haven't been keeping up to date with things.
I wish,
but also
like you.
I was watching the game. So I remember before I turned it on, Jaylen hit his first three. To be honest, I'd already placed a small bet on Jaylen Brown over on points, rebounds, and assists because he does generally do pretty well against the Warriors, has in recent time, and he's been on a tear. So I was just like, oh, that's a good one. He's kind of who I kind of want to watch in this game. I think he's going to have a big game. And so then I come back out, and my friend just texted me. He's like, dude, he just got I don't know, and then all of a sudden it's he had 4 or 5 threes. He had 19 points in the first quarter. So like I said, that was going in and out. So I didn't fully grasp that they weren't guarding him. I thought he was just getting open.
Yeah.
I just think that's
watch and I'll send it to you after too, Ryan, so you see it. But it's crazy how much they you'll watch Draymond at the top, he just drop back when Jaylen Brown steps up. It's kind of crazy, and they just didn't change it.
That's I just don't understand that because, like I said, and I just would never have thought that because he's literally he's good against the Warriors. He is.
He is.
If you look at the recent game, and not just in the championship, he's arguably the best player on their team. And then you look at all the games he's played in the last couple of years against them. I think the last couple at least, he has over 30 points before this game. So it just makes no sense to me. And again, he can get cold for sure, but obviously, he's still a top
max contract guy.
Max contract guy, top scorer in the league, and
all-star.
Honestly, as crazy as it seems, the way I could understand maybe them doing that to Tatum before Brown, because
I thought that too. Yeah,
because you give Brown the open shot, he's just going to shoot it. Tatum, I could see maybe they're like, oh, maybe this fucks with his confidence, but that isn't going to fuck with Brown's confidence. People shit on Brown all the time, but yeah, he gets disrespected a lot just randomly.
I want to explore that. The meme of oh, he can't dribble with his left hand turned into like Jaylen Brown isn't good? It like did the league just not respect him?
I think it's because he's not the best player on his team. Maybe like there's that. Oh, he's not the best player
Sure,
on his
but
team,
he'd
and
be the
therefore he's
best
not good.
player on at least half of the East,
I would,
right?
yeah, for sure. I mean,
If not
you
half
put him
the
on the
league.
Kings, the
Yeah.
Jazz. Like I could pick a number of teams probably right now. The Trailblazers, like any of those teams right now. Like those are just three off the top of my head, of course. But even against like just in general, Steph Curry is shooting 39.5% on open threes this year. Jaylen Brown is also shooting 39.5% on open threes this year. That's your reference point. If you're the Warriors, you should know that. That is just like poor management. I feel like he's getting so disrespected for that left-hand junk because he had a couple bad turnovers in the finals, which I agree with, or in the Eastern Conference Finals too last year. Like that I agree that they were not good. He worked on it. I think it's something to be said about him getting better every year, even still, like that definitely the first 3 or 4 years, it was a noticeable leap from year to year. And now we're at the point where that's still happening at a more marginal level, but he still is like a legit 1B player for sure. The best players on this team are Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. There's not a question about that. So choosing to sag on him is stupid, frankly.
Yeah, if you'd like, I have like a whole like theory on it. So I think if you kind of look, I mean, again, if you look at Jaylen, I don't know much about his high school career other than like some early childhood photos and stuff, but it seemed like he was someone who played basketball right when he was younger and was good, but not like a Jason Tatum, where Jason Tatum was a celebrity like when he was a teenager. He's always had a dream to be like the best, the best player in the world. And it seemed like, I know that when Jaylen Brown was in college, he was freakishly athletic, and it was very clearly as he grew into himself, like this guy had serious upside, at least on the defensive side, right? There were some concerns about more kind of fundamental stuff. Yeah, but that's all skill stuff, right? That you kind of develop through practice. And honestly, it's stuff that's going to be easier for you when you start playing the game at an early age. So I think because Jaylen, right, and Jaylen's very academic, I would say. He's very interested in like service and all that. So he has a lot of other interests. So if I had to guess, basketball probably only became his total goal as he realized like people were like, you got to go in the NBA and you're going to be a top draft pick. Right. But I think as he's gotten into the NBA, and that's kind of why we see like, you're kind of like, man, it's really weird. I've never seen a player this good. But then like some of the basketball IQ stuff, like the passing vision and stuff, you're like, it's just not there. And it doesn't seem to be developing. I think the reason we're seeing, like we would see just like years where he doesn't seem to grow in those areas is because of those delays. These are things that other players at his level, were learning in high school because they were determined to be that good from an early age. So, and if you look, he is getting better. This year, he's become a much better passer, I would say, overall. And I mean, his game's grown entirely. And I think year to year, he's improved more year to year than Tatum has, arguably. But I do think this year, I do think in his own way, Tatum's just become such a complete player.
Yes.
The only flaw to his game is that he might not be, you could argue is that he might not be the guy in like moments, but I don't know. Maybe
he's going to change that this year, man. I really do think that.
I believe he will too. I think it's unfair to say otherwise until it happens, but even if he doesn't, I'd have to look, are there other great players that are just like, just really good at everything, but just maybe weren't in like clutch moments the best guy on their team?
Yeah.
Right.
Consistently. I'm sure there have been,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I know we're short on time this week, so I'll just leave this question. Was this like the statement where like it feels like the league has been a little hesitant to be like the Celtics are the favorite? Do you think this win is enough for media at large, not just homers like us, to kind of take the Celtics as like the number one threat to win a title this season? I'll start with Jack there.
I think they have to be, right? I think if you don't think that, they're breaking a lot of records. They're first in offensive efficiency and they're third in defensive rating. Like it's just not often do you see a team built like that as successful as they are. I think a lot of the numbers show it. I think just even when people are out Porzingis being an example. Other dudes are able to step up. We've got that depth thanks to this Tillman trade, I would say, especially. Obviously with Horford, Pritchard, Hauser, Cornette all playing above where I think a lot of us thought they'd be playing this year. So I think, yeah, man, I think they should be the favorite. Whether or not, I don't want to say that they are guaranteed to win because you never know with injuries and weird circumstances and shit, and the NBA trying to make things interesting. Who knows? So if I had to pick, I feel really good about them this year.
Yeah, and Ryan, same thing.
Well, I mean, right now they're pretty much arguably the best team in the NBA right now, based on everything, right? But I mean, what it boils down to is like this was a huge win. They're super dominant in the regular season. It's not a question of can they win a championship, and we just don't know how this team is going to look in the playoffs until we see it fully. Obviously, it's going to look very good, but the questions are, have Tatum and Brown made those changes? Even if they haven't, are Holiday and Porzingis and this team as constructed, is that enough around them where they can just still do it? Even if they fall in some big moments. And then there's, of course, the question of the role players who have obviously been amazing, but it's, are you going to use Peyton Pritchard like that deep in the playoffs? Honestly, I think they've continued him, even Cornette. I would have always said definitely not, but like they've impressed me in moments when I just didn't think they'd play at all. So I think, again, it's just a question of the playoffs. And what it really boils down to, I might have brought this up last time, is we don't have a lot of competition in the East right now. And the Warriors have been better lately. Also, what you kind of get with the Celtics is we've talked about this, right? The effort sometimes, like you said, that was the best defense I've seen them play, and probably since maybe a couple of years, like that I can remember. It just stuck out. Like they just like they looked like they were on another level. Everyone was so locked in. It was insane. Can they play like that every game? Can they play like that every game in the playoffs? That's what it boils down to. Because it was great to see, but it's a random day game,
right?
And I mean, the Warriors have been on a better streak, but like compared to it, they kind of suck compared to who they were.
Yeah. So it'll be exciting to see. As I said, we're a little short on time, so I'll just wrap it up here. You know where to find Jack online. You know where to find us online. Guys, thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you all in the next one.